Hey YouTube, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. And today we're going to be taking a look at a knife news story. You may want to click over there so you can kind of follow along as I make my comments. But we're going to be specifically looking at the 2018 Benchmades coming out. And there are a few here that I'm excited about. There are a few I know that you guys will be excited about, and I'll try to make mention of those as well. But I do think there are some standouts that are worth noticing. The other thing I want to say before we go any further with the Benchmade lineup is that Benchmade has been noteworthy, I would say, the last couple of years. You know, in 2016, they had the Crooked River, which I think is an amazing knife. This year, they're going to have the Crooked River Mini, which a number of you have commented you're really excited about. But last year they had the Benchmade Freak and the Benchmade Boost, both of which I think were great knives. And now we've got some new stuff coming that I think is pretty compelling as well. Not the least of which, of course, is that Mini Crooked River, which let's take a look at that first, since I know a lot of you guys are really stoked for it. So here is Benchmade's website, and there's the knife there. I'm gonna have to kind of scroll through it slowly. I've got the camera configured so that the knife news story fits, not so much so that Benchmade's website fits. Hold on, why did that shrink down? There we go. About the product, you can see S30V, 3.4 inch blade, 7.89 inches overall, and 3.29 ounces. So that's gonna be much smaller than the full-size Crooked River. It's still gonna be a fairly full-size knife, which I think is interesting, and I know a lot of you guys are really gonna love it. Let me just say this. The Crooked River design is a total win. I absolutely love my Crooked River. I can't wait to do the video where I show you guys how it looks with the forged carbon fiber scales from Rogue Knife Works. That's really exciting stuff. They're also going to do a Mini Freak, a Mini Boost, and a Mini Presidio 2, which, again, now to me, you know, this is not something I'm super excited about. By the way, that was my tablet singing at you because I'm getting an email. So I'm not going to go into every single one of these. I did want to show you the Mini Crooked River because I know you guys will be really interested in that. From that here on, we're just going to take a look at the knives that I can see easily in the knife news story. So here are the knives. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail on every one, but I am going to kind of go in a little more depth on some of the ones that I'm interested in. This guy, this little fixed blade, I think is pretty cool. It's the Altitude. It's designed to be like a lightweight hiking knife. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to read this. You probably can. 1.67 ounces on this. Now that doesn't include the sheath, okay? It is also available in black, which is good because I'm not in love with the orange, but S90V steel on this guy. So pretty cool little knife. By the design of it, I would say I would want to use gloves with this guy. It's, you know, just going to be a kind of a hunk of steel there, which is not ergonomically all that fantastic. But throw a pair of gloves on and I think this could be a pretty neat knife. 3 inches, S90V. I'm pretty stoked about the Altitude. The price is the only thing that's off-putting. $230 is the MSRP on there, but you are getting S90V, which is pretty impressive. Another knife that I'm interested in is the Benchmade Vector, the 495. Now, if you've looked at the Arcane, which was a flipper from last year, kind of a follow-up to, or sort of in the vein of the Benchmade Emissary, which is a really cool knife. And by the way, I may, if I can get my hands on an Arcane for review, I will. I'm pretty curious about that one. But this is sort of in that same vein, only bigger, which of course to me is better. 3.6 inches of blade on this one, 8.42 inches overall, still only 4.11 ounces. Now, I don't know, we'll have to see if that with I don't know, we'll see if the weight comes in at the number they're giving us. Because that's a pretty low weight for a knife of that size, and if they hit it, that's really cool. Again, the MSRP though, $225 on this one is a little steep. The only issue I have with this knife is notice how I'm not a huge fan of spear point blades, especially spear point blades with that false edge at the top or with that fairly full swedge. All right, there are a couple of reasons for that. Mostly I like to have some room for my thumb, like right there on the blade, and that one, this is not going to have it possibly. But we'll see. So I'll be watching this to see, you know, what the exact specs are, and you know, get a little more detail when we can see it live at SHOT Show. But this is a knife I'm kind of watching, but I'm sort of on the fence about. The next knife, again, Benchmade does a good job with most of their fixed blades, guys. So the Purdue Hunter, I think, is going to be a nice knife. You can see a very, you know, heavily curved belly at the front, full flat grind, nice outdoors knife, nice skinning knife. Again, pretty expensive at $225. And it does come with a leather sheath. So if you're looking for something like an EDC fixed blade, I don't think this is going to work. Leather sheaths are not usually well suited to that, but we'll see. So Benchmade PARDUE Hunter, I'm mildly interested in it. It is designed by Mel PARDUE, who's the brains behind the Griptilian. I'm not quite as stoked about this one as I am about the next one. So the Benchmade 15061, my goodness, that's a long number, GRIZZLY Ridge. Now the reason I'm interested in this one is because it's similar in construction and really kind of the overall process, the philosophy, I guess, is similar to the Freak. And you guys know I loved the Benchmade Freak. I really need to have another one in my collection. But this is going to be just a little bit smaller, probably more Griptilian size. So if you're a big fan of the Griptilian, you'll probably love this guy. The MSRP is $145, which means we're probably coming in at a price point near the Freak, which was $110 if you recall. It is the, what do you call it? The Grivery and VersaFlex handle. So that's that sticky, rubbery handle. You know, it would have been nice, again, to see this in G10. I feel like a broken record saying that, but for some reason, you know, Benchmade thinks that G10 is like gold, and so it has to cost a huge amount of money, even though, you know, there's all kinds of budget knives in G10. Anyway, back to the point I'm trying to make. So they do this in Grivery with the FlexTech coating, which is kind of frustrating. I would love to just see this in G10, but I do like the design. I like the slight recurve there. The overall size on this guy is a little small. It does have a 3.5-inch blade. It's just under 8 inches, which is, you know, we'll see. Sometimes knives that are just under 8 inches are great, like the Kershaw Blur is one that I love. But sometimes to get under 8 inches, they end up being a little too small in hand. Anyway, we'll see. 3.7 ounces is the number they're giving us for weight on this, which again, that's a great number. And if they hit that number, I'll be pretty impressed. And I guess that's one of the benefits of going with the Grivery over the G10. S30V steel with a recurve. I do like recurve, so this one is definitely on my radar. And out of all of these knives, I will say this is probably the one I would be most likely to buy. Next up, the 417 Fact, the Benchmade Fact, okay, interesting name. It's kind of a big, long, slim sort of knife. I do like that in theory. You know, it's sort of reminiscent of the 710 or of the ZT-0450. You know, those long, slim knives are pretty nice, and this certainly fits in there. It looks like it's going to be fairly lightweight. And again, it's going to be a little steep on the price point, but what can you do? So Benchmade Fact, it seems, I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. I like big knives. I don't love the blade shape. I don't love the overall design of this. It reminds me a little bit of a SOG, in fact, but probably not bad. And again, I'll be watching this to see, to make a final conclusion. Benchmade Infidel, of course, is probably their most famous OTF, and they're going to come out with that in a fixed blade. That's kind of interesting. Not something that I have any interest in, but I'm sure some of you might be compelled by that one. Little neck knife here, which is kind of neat. Benchmade 101 follow-up. I do like small fixed blades if they're well done, and this one seems to be pretty darn good. There are, you know, my issue is going to be the price. Benchmades are usually pretty expensive, and when there are small fixed blades like the Steel Wills and Real Steels and Reich small fixed blades out there, I tend to steer away from the more expensive ones because I don't find you're getting much extra for all your extra money. And finally, they're doing a Gold Class 4A, pretty popular Benchmade design. Of course, the Gold Class, here's my thing with Gold Class Benchmades. They cost more than like full custom knives. I think they, you know, yeah, they got a lot of pretty materials, which is great. But if I'm going to drop that kind of money on a knife, it sure is not going to be a Benchmade. Okay, so I never get too much excitement over any of the Gold Class Benchmades. Some of the limited editions I've been interested in, but that's about as far as that goes. All right, so there you go, guys. That's my rundown of the new Benchmades for the year. In conclusion, let me say, I really do like what Benchmade is doing. You know, sometimes you look at a company and honestly, Spyderco this year, I'm just not excited about anything that they have coming out. We haven't heard from Cold Steel. We haven't heard from ZT. I do actually kind of like some of the new CRKTs, but honestly, of all of the sort of lineups that have been released already, Benchmade is one of the ones that I'm more interested in than others. Now, as I say, we haven't seen the ZTs yet. The other company that I'm pretty stoked for 2018 is Steel Will. I'd love to hear in the comments below what you think of these knives, and I'd also love to hear, is there another company out there that you're kind of watching, the company to watch for 2018? All right, let me know what you think that might be down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.